would not be a functioning government at Stormont?
Well, it's a matter of deep regret, but I would have to say that unfortunately, after the agreement was made 25 years ago and immediately ratified by the electorate before we implemented it, in subsequent years, changes were made to the agreement in 2006 by the government against our wishes and without our consent. And I think those changes radically altered the trajectory of the agreement. So yes, I'm deeply disappointed and frustrated by it. However, if we look at the big picture, there are now virtually 2 generations have grown up or are coming up now who have no recollection, thank God, of our troubles. They're able to live their lives in a much more normal way, not perfect by any means, but generally speaking, the agreement has achieved a more normal society here, freed from the scourge of terrorism. And if you look at the statistics of the 25 years before the agreement and the 25 years after the agreement, I think that speaks for itself. And that's something of which I'm very proud.
That is certainly true, my lord, but I suppose it prompts the next question, which is how stable do you think the Good Friday Agreement is today?
I think it is basically stable because a majority of people still would support it. And I could point out to you that Brexit was carried by a vote of 52 to 48%. The agreement had an approval rating in Northern Ireland of 71.12%, and in the Republic over 90%. So I think that the bulk of those people are still staying with it. Yes, there are frustrations which are caused by the protocol in Ireland and Northern arising from the Brexit arrangements, and now we have the Windsor Framework. These are things that weren't anticipated 25 years ago, and I suspect nobody would have anticipated it. But at the end of the day, we'll have to work our way through that. And the only way to do it is to negotiate. I mean, if we've learned nothing else, taking up arms and hurting people and causing death and destruction doesn't succeed. And unfortunately, some politicians here are operating a boycott, which is holding back the institutions. I think that's a fundamental mistake. There are problems with the framework, Windsor Framework, and there are problems arising from the protocol. It was very badly negotiated, but at least it's improving. And I think we could do much more working in the institutions to settle and fix a lot of the problems that we have rather than boycotting them. So in the end of the day, I think we have a better deal. And may I point out to you that while nothing is perfect here, things aren't perfect in other big cities and other areas of the country as well. We've knife crime in London. We've had shootings in Manchester and Liverpool. We're no different, but the gangs that we'd had left here are ones that had acquired their skills in their paramilitary activities and have now put them into basically crime. So we're fighting that, and I think ultimately we will win.
Well, certainly those some of the highlights that you made there are valid. You, of course, very much remember, as you were saying, the tense years in Northern Ireland, as indeed do I. Peace walls, they were established, are still in place. Do you think we still need them?
Well, I as a constituency representative, I had some peace walls in my patch, and people felt more comfortable that maybe they were only locked at night time, for instance, because it did prevent gangs of youngsters clashing with each other. And some of them, particularly if they were organized on social media, and we've seen this right across the country, it was almost like a sporting activity. So it's horrible to see them still there, but I think you can only get rid of them when the people on each side of those walls feel comfortable. And some of them have been coming down, and I think some more will come down. But you can't go in and just take them away without the consent of the people living there, because it is their peace and comfort that is at stake. And it would be, I think, unfair, because what that would mean is it would require more policing, and resources are very stretched here as they are everywhere else. So It's a horrible thing to see, but they are a legacy issue, and eventually we will get rid of them.
Okay, my lord, we must leave it there, but fascinating to hear from you this morning. Thank you.